The Kings have been bad for too long. After a 16-year playoff drought, they made the playoffs in 2022-2023 season, where they lost to the Warriors. And after that, they went right back to where they started. And I think it's time that we fix that. And by fix that, I mean fix this team, because Jesus Christ, what are they doing? Hello everyone, my name is Cameron, and I'm going to be rebuilding Sacramento Kings. We have a lot to go over, so this is going to be episode 0, not 1, 0, this is episode 0. So in this episode, I'm going to be going over basically what's going to be happening in this series, and all of the back end stuff. So to start, the reason we are starting where we are is because first I wanted there to be, a couple weeks of the season so we can gauge what all the teams are doing, because for this series I'm pretty much going to be controlling the whole league, but specifically rebuilding the Kings, right? So I wanted to see kind of where every team is, what every team's looking like, especially what the Kings looking like, right? And they're not looking good, okay? There's been rumors going around that the Kings are trying to trade pretty much everybody because they're blowing up, which is a good idea. So for this series, we'll be rebuilding them. It's going to be realistic. Most of the trades and signings are going to be realistic trades and signings. The rosters I'm using are another reason why it took so long to start, is because I was waiting for the attention to detail rosters to drop. They did drop. I'm using MyNBA Finest 97's roster, and I'm using sliders as well for the most part. I tweaked them a bit, and I also tweaked the rosters a bit. That's what I'm using for those two. As for what's going to be happening in this first year, for the most part, I'm not going to do anything drastic, despite, what the rumors might say. Will I be trying to trade some of our players? Absolutely. I will absolutely be trying to trade some of our players. But again, it's going to have to be realistic. And I'm going to try and, for the first year, because I'm a first year GM. I'm not going to come in here and blow the whole team up doing 20 trades, right? I'm going to try and stick to what the Kings have been doing and what they've wanted to do, which is now leaning towards a rebuild, so I might be trading some of our players. But for the most part, I'm not going to do anything too drastic in the first year. I'm kind of going to stick to the Kings playbook and probably be mid, okay? That's the plan for this year. Once it hits the off season, I'm going to kind of take more control, and this will be my team. I'm still going to be in control. I'm still going to make some trades, still going to do some stuff. But once it hits the off season, that's when it's like, okay, I'm in control now, and I'm taking it my direction. I'm going to get my guys in here. I'm going to fix this team for real. So this first season is kind of going to suck. It's going to be tough. As for other teams, I'll be making trades for them as well for the rest of the league. I won't be focused on them super hard, but of course, like, for instance, if a team is doing really bad, like the Mavericks, maybe they might want to trade Anthony Davis and start rebuilding around Cooper Flag. That's a realistic trade that might happen. Maybe a team like the Suns will want to buy in because they don't even have their picks, so that what they need, if they can get a good star player for cheap, like Anthony Davis, because he's injury prone, then they might want to buy into that. So I'll be making those kind of trades for the league wide, and yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. For the episodes that I'll be making, I'll probably play maybe 1 or 2 games depending on what it feels like when I'm making the episodes, and we'll work it out. We'll find out what's gonna work. So yeah, the draft class is based on this year. They will not all be based on the actual year. This year, since I'll be watching the college basketball as the year's going on, and I'll be editing the draft class a little bit. Obviously, I'm not gonna obviously I'm going to be done with year 1 before the college season is over, but while I'm going through it, if any players start to break out or anything, I'll add them and I'll move them around in the draft class, of course. But for year 2 and after that, it's pretty much going to be auto-generated, because once you start getting in the future, it's kind of hard to have these like, okay, we know who's going to be there and we know how good they're going to be, right? Like if we're in 2028, I don't even know who's going to be in that draft class, right? So once we get past year 1, those draft classes are going to be auto-generated. But I think I'll probably go through them and make sure that there's like interesting stuff in them to make it more dynamic. There will also be dynamic events that will be happening throughout the year that will make the series a little bit more interesting. Maybe certain teams go on a hot streak, or maybe certain teams are panicking and want to sell their star player, or maybe a lesser known player starts to break out on a team and gets a ratings boost, right? So I will have dynamic events through the year that are going to happen that'll shake things up a bit and not be so linear. Okay, so I think that's most of the like onboarding things that I need to go over. As for the season and what's going on, I have forced all the wins to where, as of today, the standings are accurate. The stats aren't going to be perfectly accurate, obviously, because I'm forcing the wins. It's not like there's a start today for this, because you can't do start today with custom rosters, but it's pretty close. If you look at the stats, it's all pretty good. Luka's averaging a lot, Tyrese averaging a lot, yeah. So yeah, that's what we're looking at there. And then as for, I think that's most of everything. I've done most of the lineups for every team. And I will be adjusting their lineups and stuff throughout the season to make sure everything's realistic. Okay. On to more Kings issues. We're off of the specific league stuff, and we're moving on to the, okay, now we're like in like this series is starting. Okay. So let's just go over the team and go over what we expect and what we're going to do with every player. Okay. These rosters are up to date for the most part. Also, quick caveat. If any big trades happen through the season in real life during year 1, if the trades still make sense, I might make them happen. For example, if we get to the trade deadline in 2K and I'm there and I'm like, okay, what moves could be happening? And in real life, somebody gets traded and I'm like, that makes sense for both of the teams in 2K as well. Because at this point, we're kind of breaking the link between 2K and real life, because I'm going to start playing the games and moving into the future. Well, obviously real life is in the present. If anything happens that makes sense, I probably will make that trade happen. So like if in 3 days, Anthony Davis gets traded, and in 3 days I'm like in January, right? Obviously it's not the same, but if it makes sense for, the team that traded for Anthony Davis, I'll like heavily consider doing that. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, I'll go back to the Kings roster. Okay. So I want to go over expectations and what we plan to do with every player. Now keep in mind, year 1, I'm kind of, I've somewhat of the Kings philosophy from what I understand it to be, okay? Which means, going out of order here, Keon Ellis might not get a lot of minutes because for some reason, they don't play him that much, even though he should be playing a lot more. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. I love Keon Ellis, and I think he should play a lot more. But for some reason, they don't give him a lot of minutes. He does get some minutes, but it's just, he might be starting if for me, if I was fully in control. But because of that, he's going to be coming off the bench, and he's not going to be getting like a 30 minutes per game or anything, right? That's just an example of kind of my philosophy going into year 1. So starting from the top, Sabonis, if we can work out a trade, hopefully we get him off this team. No shot at Sabonis. I think his game is fantastic. Not super great defensively. Fantastic passer. Great rebounder. But we kind of want to start a rebuild if we can. Again, it's an if we can, because if the trade is not there, we're not doing it. Again, we're going to kind of try and be realistic with this. Okay. Now, so Sabonis, we would like to trade. If we can't, maybe we build up some of his value. He's got, I think, 3 years on his deal. So maybe we build up value this year, trade him in the off season, or if we can get a trade this season, we do that too. Okay. Next player is Zach LaVine. I love Zach LaVine. Fantastic shooter. Fantastic scorer. Not a great defender. And yeah, again, trying to trade him. His contract isn't great. 1 year, $47 million. But it's expiring, so maybe a team takes a chance on it. Maybe not. I think he also I went to the Jazz, sorry about that. I think he also has he has a player option, so that might make his contract a little bit less tradable. Maybe teams he's gonna pick up that option, so maybe teams really don't want him to pick up that option, and so they might not trade for him. So we might not get a lot of value for either of these guys if we do trade them, but we are trying to trade them. It's gonna be the same for a lot of these guys. DeRozan, we're also trying to trade. Okay, fantastic mid-range scorer, fantastic scorer overall. Right, everyone knows who DeMar DeRozan is. He's a little bit older. He's getting pretty old. He's making about, $25 million a year. He's got 2 years left on his deal. A more tradable contract for sure. What team would want him? I don't know. We'll explore that when we get there. But he will be somebody we are looking at trading. Russell Westbrook, I don't know. Okay. The Kings were very adamant about picking up Russell Westbrook in the offseason. Not really sure why, because again, the Kings should be rebuilding. But they picked him up, and I mean, he's not going to get traded. There's no real reason to trade him. I don't know who would really want him. Not that he's not a good player, but just like he's kind of hard to fit into a lot of teams. So Russ is going to be with us all season. Will he be with us next season? I don't know. We could re-sign him. I don't know if we will, but there's always that option. Yeah. Malik Monk, probably going to get traded too. They were trying to trade Malik Monk all the offseason to bring in Westbrook, and then they just brought Westbrook in anyway. I think they were also trying to trade him to get Kuminga. Again, I don't know if that happens for us, but I think he is going to be on the trade block, looking to see what we can get for him. Keegan Murray's probably going to stay. They seem to like Keegan Murray. They gave him the extension. He's a good shooter, good defender, which this team doesn't have a lot of, so that's very good. He's one of our younger players, even though he's still 25, but hopefully we can get something for him. Or not something for him. We're not going to trade him. At least not this season. He will be on the team. He's injured right now. He'll come back at some point. Precious Achiuwa, they just picked up. He was dropped by the Knicks, and they just picked up. He's probably going to stay with the team. No real reason we would look at trading him. Yeah. Dennis Schroeder, we gave the extension this offseason. Or we signed him this offseason. He's on a pretty friendly contract. I don't see a real reason we would trade him unless it's just like adding value to another deal. So that's the plan for him. He's probably going to be on the team into next year, and then next year we'll see what happens. Kind of already went over Keon. He might even end up in a trade package because a lot of the league probably would value a Keon Ellis, and guess who doesn't? The Kings. Now, I'm going to do everything I can to not do that, but at the same time, stick with the Kings philosophy. So if I have to, it will break my heart, but if I have to, I have to. Drew Eubanks is kind of, just a filler piece on this team. He's a great bench guy, good bench guy. He can fill in when, Sabonis is injured. Probably not really looking to trade him or do anything with him, just a good piece. Nick Clifford was our draft pick last year. I love Nick Clifford. He was actually one of the reasons I picked to rebuild this team. I think he's a great just do it all player. Does a little bit of everything. Good at rebounding. Pretty good defensively. He can score a bit. Overall, nice guy. He's an older rookie, so he's not the youngest. Not like we're gonna build around him, but he could be one of the pieces that is around one of the guys that we build around, right? But I like Nick Clifford. I think they got him. They got him, what was he, 25? 24? He was picked 24th, and I like that they got him. I think that was a good pick for them. For us, I should say. Devin Carter, I don't really know with Devin Carter, right? They're not playing him a lot this year, and they tried to trade him over the offseason, which makes me think they don't really want him here. So there's a good chance he does get traded, but at the same time, I don't know where he would get traded, because if we're trading players from this team, it's going to be older players to a contender, because contenders are going to want to buy into our better players, right? That would be the plan for other teams, right? But Devin Carter doesn't make sense to include in any of those packages, really, because he's young. So why would you include like a rookie kind of guy or a younger kind of guy in with a bunch of older players to a team that wants to contend? Like, that doesn't make much sense. So could he be traded? Absolutely. He is not safe. I'll say that. He is not Nick Clifford. Nick Clifford is pretty much untouchable. Not that he's like some great untouchable player, but we're just not trading him. He's a rookie. We're not trading him. Devin Carter's not. He's not on the trade block necessarily, but he's about as close as you can get to the trade block without being on the trade block. Saric, I mean, good bench guy. Not really looking to trade him. Same with McDermott. Right now is another rookie we drafted in the second round this year, or over the summer. Good rookie off the bench. He might not play a lot this year. Might get sporadic minutes here and there, but overall, he's a good player. We're gonna keep him. He's gonna be kind of like Neek. We're not looking for trades at all for him. We probably won't trade him at all. And then the rest of the guys are two-way guys. So, I mean, they'll be there if we need them to fill in minutes, but obviously we're not looking to like get rid of them or anything. So that's what everybody on the roster is looking like, what we're planning to do with them. Our lineups are looking like this. Dennis Schroeder is starting at point guard because we did give him the money this offseason. We can't just not start him. That wouldn't make much sense. Levine DeRozan, obviously. Precious Achiuwa is getting the start. This team needs defense, and this is what they've been doing in real life, I believe. So Precious Achiuwa is going to get the start. Can help on defense. Sabonis, of course. Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook getting 30 minutes off the bench because, honestly, Russ has been way better than Schroeder, so he should be getting a lot more minutes. But it's kind of just like a politics thing with Schroeder. So he's got to start. But, yeah. Neek's getting a couple minutes. Keon's getting about 10. This will probably fluctuate a bit, depending on injuries in the lineups. He might sneak his way into the starting lineup every now and then. And if he starts playing really good in these 10 minutes, he can obviously earn some minutes and maybe even earn his way in the starting lineup. It just depends. You know, we're trying to be Kings-like in this first season, but we're unlinking ourselves from real life here once this season has started. Or once the series has started. So if Keon Ellis turns into like Michael Jordan, we're not gonna be like, well, the Kings might want to trade him, so we're gonna like obviously we'd keep him, but we'll see. So that'll be our lineup, starting with the 10-man. I think that's about right. As for, I think the only things left to touch would be coaching and what we plan to do on that. So Doug Christie is our coach right now. He has mixed reviews in real life. Some people love him, some people hate him. I feel like that's pretty much every coach of an NBA team. All the fans either love them or hate them. I kind of like his passion that he's been putting out recently. I'm sure you guys have seen it. He said something along the lines of, "I'm 55, but I could have played better today," to one of their in response to one of their losses. I kind of like that spunk. Kind of like that from our coach. He probably will be good for this season. I don't know if he will stay on this team long term, but for this season, he'll probably be a lock. He probably won't get fired. So yeah, that I think is our plan for Doug Christie this year. If he does better than expected, you know, honestly, I don't even know if we'll really be paying attention to him this year because of everything that's going on this year. I think it'll be in the coming years that it'll really be like, do we want to go forward with Doug Christie? And those will be the years that we will be looking at him like, okay, you need to show something as a coach or you're going to be gone, right? So that's what we're kind of looking at with him. And then the last thing we need to cover is probably the draft. Now, kind of ignore these mock drafts because I just loaded in the the draft class, they are, some of the players aren't correctly in order just because they aren't actually, what's it called, scouted. But obviously, we want to get as high of a pick as possible. I don't know how high that'll be, right? Because, I gotta trade the players, and if I can't find the trades for the players, then our team is gonna be what our team is. And so far, that has still been bad, but in 2K, you never know. So hopefully you're at the highest pick possible. Obviously, I think ideally we would want somebody like Darren Peterson or AJ DeMonsta or Cameron Boozer. Those are the top 3 in this draft class. Anybody would help this team. I'll tell you that much. Anybody would help this team. In trades, we're going to be looking for draft picks. This is a big draft. Whether that be second round or first round, we just want picks for trades. Again, ideally, we're getting Darren Peterson is probably my favorite player from this class. Fit for this team is completely irrelevant. We do not care about fit at all because none of the players that are on this roster are really important. So Darren Peterson is kind of who I'm hoping to get, but that's going to be like the number 1 pick. Voice crack. That's going to be like the number 1 pick. So probably not going to get him. I like Mikael Brown Jr. I like Caleb Wilson. I like a lot of these guys. I like Yesafu. There's a lot of guys we can go. There's a lot of guys we can go for. But that's pretty much the plan. Try and get picks and trades if you can get picks. If not, try and be as bad as possible, but without like actually tanking, So yeah, that is gonna be the end of episode 0. I just wanted to have an episode where I explain everything, our plans. So if anybody ever asks, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I can go watch episode 0, right? All right. So thank you for watching. That is episode 0, and the name of this series is going to be Fallen Kingdom. Now, I think that's a very obvious, like the kings are bad, Fallen Kingdom, Okay. So yeah, that's episode 0. Thank you everybody for watching. Episode 1 will be officially out at some point. Got a lot of real life stuff going on, so we'll see when I get that out. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope that you will continue watching the journey that we have with this team.